So hi, welcome you all. Welcome to the NetMinion Solutions. Okay, where your outcome always matters to us. So today we will talk about Python. Okay, about the Python or Python demo. Okay, and we will continue. Like we will check what we can do with Python, why Python, and this is purely a demo register for the networks perspective. Okay, the persons who are working into the networking field or into the F5 or maybe for the ASA. Okay, so first of all, maybe if you talk about why Python, so we are all aware that Python is gaining so much popularity nowadays. Even we can see these kind of facts that US university is teaching it. Okay, maybe the top of the universities. Then we can see that there are latest indexes. Okay, and there are so much work going on where we have checked that this language is coming on to the 10 most popular programming language. Okay, and then it is beating its old maybe C, Java, C++ kind of language. Okay, so Python is mainly used for the networking device, which we will work over here. Okay, and I hope you all are aware that it is created by a Dutch programmer. Okay, his name is maybe anyone can guess. So his name is Guido van Rossum. Okay, he created it in 1991. Okay, and he named Python after the television show named as Monty Python's Flying Circus. Okay, so he liked that show, and from that show only he picked the name Python, and he gave this language name as Python. So Python is a general purpose language, which means it can be used to build just about anything, which will be made easy with the right tools and libraries. So there are so much open libraries, so much open modules which exist into the market, which you can use to leverage your program. Okay, or to provide the automation. Okay, so professionally Python is a great for the backend web development side as well, like data analysis, artificial intelligence, in scientific computing. Okay, and many developers are using Python, right, to build maybe the productivity tools also, like the games also, desktop apps, or there are plenty of resources, where Python may be used. So we will just check about it. Okay, and I will give you a short demo also how we can create Python for our purpose. Okay, so how to install Python on your Windows machine? It is the first slide which I have put you, because if many of you are not aware like how to install Python on your Windows server, so this slide is added in taking into account those people. So if you wanted to install Python on your Windows PC, you can just go over this link. So I wanted to tell you guys. Okay, so all of this slide I will give you. Okay, the people who have joined, I will send you over the email. Don't worry, need not to write, need not to memorize anything. Okay, just listen it and just be put your focus over here. Okay, I will give you all the slides and the video recording also. Okay, so if you check like how to install Python on your Windows machine, you can just go to the Python website directly. Okay, and from there, maybe if I wanted to show you, just allow me a minute. So let me bring over here this my Chrome. I only write down Python download. Okay, the first link will be my python.org download. Over here you can go, you can just download it. Okay, it is free, whatever the best version suitable for you. Maybe some of the PCs are having Windows 10, some of the PCs are having like some another Windows or Mac OS or something like that. So whatever version it is supportable for you, you just go there and download. maybe if you just put over the download, okay, it will show you such kind of the screen, and over here you can just go to the executable file, okay, like this, and it will be come to your executable installer will be come to your desktop, okay. Then just double click. You all are aware like how from the childhood we are doing the installations. So just by pressing next and next and next, it will be get installed in your PC, okay. Then I have already told you that you need to run it, okay, by pressing next and next and next. But I would also like to tell you that when you are running it, you need to right click over that. You need to run it as an administrator, okay, so that it will not throw any error afterwards. So one thing more or one point more which I wanted to add over here, when you are installing this, okay, you need to click over two portions. You need to click over these two tick marks you need to add on, okay. Like first is your installer, okay, like on the installer you need to select it, and add Python you need to select it. So both of these points should be selected. After that it will be installed in your path also without any issue. Now let us check how we can interact with the Python interpreter. Okay, so Python interpreter is something where you can read, evaluate the command. Whenever you enter, it will provide you all the results at that time. Okay, Shrikant, you maybe you wanted to say something. Okay, you raises your hand, so I will unmute you. Don't worry. Okay, in some time. So if you wanted to print out something, you can just open it, and you how to open it, you just need to go to the command prompt, or if you are using Mac OS, to the terminal followed by the keyword Python. So let me show you, okay, quickly. If I am going over here and writing down CMD command prompt, okay, the command prompt will be open to you, and yes, before that the Python should be installed on your system, okay. If Python is installed on your system, you just write down Python, and this is the interpreter which is open for you. This is your Python interpreter. Here, if I wanted to do some kind of stuff, maybe some kind of mathematically stuff, like I am taking a variable named as A, and I am assigning some kind of value like 10, and I am assigning a value B, like a value 20 into the variable B. So I have two variables currently. If I wanted to make some kind of stuff like A plus B, this is the correct output which you will get. Okay, I am using Anaconda and PyCharm. Not an issue. I will talk about them also. Don't worry. Okay. So this is all about the interpreter, how to open the interpreter. So interpreter cannot be opened by the command prompt only. You can go to the PowerShell also. So if you go to the PowerShell, okay, same procedure, open the PowerShell, and into the PowerShell you just write down the Python, okay, if Python is already installed over there, and you will be into the interpreter, okay. So this is something known as Python interpreter. So Python interpreter is used in those programs, or if you wanted to check the application output very quickly. So this is all about the Python interpreter. And here we can say that we can use the print function also, like print hello world or something like that, maybe any of the print function, and press enter key, the result will be come to you. Then one thing more, if you wanted to run any kind of script, so currently what we were doing, we were using the interpreter, okay. So we were using the interpreter. Into interpreter I showed you something that when I was assigning some kind of value like A equal to 10 or B equal to 20, and I was adding these two number, it was giving me the results like 30. Similarly, what I can do, I can save the file with .py extension, okay. So Python files has the .py extension. If you wanted to open it, this file, this time from the command prompt, what you need to go, you need to go to the command prompt, you need to write down Python followed by the file name, okay. Whatever file name you have, the complete file name with the extension .py. So it means you are executing the script. So currently I am showing you like a very small script. Maybe we can run with a small script of the print statement as it is showing over here. Okay, and in future we will be able to create a very large script, okay, as per us. So let me show you that. If I'm going to the command prompt, okay, and so before that I wanted to ask, are you people able to hear me? Any one of you please put it over chat into the Q&A section. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for confirming. Thanks. Okay, so I was showing you like how to run a script. So I am just opening a notepad file, maybe, okay, a simple notepad file. If I am opening a notepad file, I can save the notepad file with the Python script with the save as. Okay, so I wanted to just write down print. Okay, print is an inbuilt Python function, okay, which means that it will provide or it will print the output as it is, whatever you will write over there. So if I am printing something like print, hello friends, welcome to the demo, like that, okay, I can use it using the interpreter also. So if I will use the interpreter like that, so same output you are getting over here as well. But because this is our first class, I am showing you very, sorry, it is our demo class, and I am showing you how we can run the script. So if I'm saving this script, okay, over the desktop, maybe some kind of file name test.py, and here instead of text, I need to select all files, okay, and I am saving it, okay. Now I will have one more file over here. Okay, if you wanted to get out from the interpreter, either you need to give exit followed by open bracket and close bracket. Just press enter and you will come out of it. Now go to the desktop, you need to go to the same path, and if you write down the dir, you can see that test.py is there, which is created at 2048, and currently you can see that my time is also 2048. So it is created by us right now. Now, if I wanted to run this file, I just wanted to write down like Python. After Python, I need to give the Python file name like test.py. If I will print something, it will give me all the output, whatever I have write down over there into my main file. So this is the way like how we can run the scripts as well. Okay, but going forward, we will talk about IDEs also, because someone was very much keen about to talk about the IDs. So we will talk about the IDs, don't worry. Okay, thank you. So I have already told you how to save the Python file and how to execute them. Now IDs are the integrated development environment, and if I talk about the practically kind of stuff, we will not gonna only print something or uh, get some kind of input from the user. Okay, we need to build in some very good program, maybe of the 100 lines minimum. Okay, where we can maybe configure some kind of device auditing. Okay, or maybe some valuable kind of stuff. So it is not a ideal way to work over the interpreter only. So for that you required something named as IDs. You cannot work over the notepad also, because Python is very much case sensitive, and there is some concept named as indentation. So what does that mean? That the space should be there. Like if you are using the for loop into the Python, after that there should be some space. It may be 2, maybe 4, but as a standard we will take 4. So 4 spaces should be there if you are using if. Okay, 4 spaces should be there. If you are maybe defining your own function, I will tell you in the classes, if you will opt for how to create your own user defined function. So if you are defining some kind of function over there, again you need to take the indentation where the 4 spaces should be there. So to taken in account these kind of steps, we will use IDs. So I will show you also like how ID will be valuable in contrast with our simple interpreter. okay. And but let me tell you first what IDs are. So in Python, IDs, one can manage a very large code, okay, and achieve the quick deployment without any errors. So some IDs, like some of you were talking about the PyCharm, we can run, like we can check where the bug is coming from. So bug is seriously a very much big issue. When you need to troubleshoot for the bug, it takes so much time, okay. So how to troubleshoot for bug will take so much of your time, so you can troubleshoot with the IDs. So as a network administrator, you need not to put the money for the IDs at least, okay. You, what you can opt for, you can go for either for the Sublime Text 3, okay. And again, this is a free. I have already provided the link also into my this PPT, and again you will get all of these materials, okay, with you. You can download PyCharm also, okay, and you can work over there. So let me quickly open one of the my ID, maybe Sublime, okay. If I am opening Sublime and I am using some kind of script over here, if I am writing something like print, you can see that I am just opening the bracket, the closing bracket is coming automatically. So print any of the line which I need to write down in between the print statement, it should be under the quotes, either into the single quotes or into the double quotes. So I will just open the single quote, the ending quote is coming automatically by this Sublime, okay. Whatever I am writing over here, I am saving it with Control S, and with Control plus B, I can run this program over here only, and you can see that my output is shown over here. So what I am doing, I am running something over there, and it is again showing me automatically. The script is running and output is showing me over here. So here, what I can do, I can route down a program of maybe of the 100 of line, and I can debug also. I can do multiple of the stuff. Maybe let me show you one thing over here. If I'm using for loop for, okay, variable in range, so maybe range I am using 10, and if you are not aware about these kind of stuff, do not worry, I would surely tell you about them as well. But I am just printing something. Maybe I am printing, okay, welcome, like that, okay, and I'm just pressing Control B. This time you can see this for loop will work for 10 times, okay. So for 0 to 9, okay, if I will just write down one thing more over here, maybe if I will put on var over here and write down like that, you can see that the range command is doing what, it will starting from 0 and it will go till the number, whatever number I am providing less than 1. So it is going to the 0, 1, 2, 3, and likewise this output is shown over here. So this is one of the steps which I am showing, like how we can utilize our IDEs for our bigger program. So without any delay, let me show you more of the scripts, okay, after the IDs. But before that, I wanted to talk about my lab, okay, whatever the lab I am using for my class. And yes, I will help you all to create the same lab for your PCs in your local desktop, okay. So here you can see this is my PC from where I am talking with you guys, and this is the PC where the Python is installed. Over this PC, my layer 2 switch is connected. Again, all of this stuff except my PC is the virtual environment, okay, and I will let you know like how to create this virtual environment. And from this layer 2 switch, all of my layer 3 switches, two of my layer 3 switches and two of my routers are there, okay, and one is my big IP device. So these are the three devices, these are the 5 devices which we will configure later on, okay, for our like class purpose, and we will understand how to put automation for our Cisco stuff. Maybe we can leverage for the Cisco ASA also, Cisco routers also, Cisco NXOS also, okay. Just allow me a minute, please. Use all of the stuff like that. And here I was talking you about the lab setup. So into my lab, I have used a major subnet of 172.1620.0/24. Okay, the IPs from this subnet will be assigned over here. in these physical ports, maybe like that. But instead of the loopback IP, which would be maybe easy to remember for me, I can use like 1.1.1 or maybe 2.2.2, and here like 11.11, or here like 22.22. So this is my whole setup where I will show you how to run the script today also, okay, and going forth also. So you can see these are my 4 switches for 4 devices. 2 are the switches, okay. If you check show IP interface brief, exclude unassigned. So just allow me a minute. I hope the brief is 2 time over there. So major subnet is the same what I told you, 172.16.20.0/24, and after that we have one loopback IP also. Likewise, we have the same over here also, show IP interface brief, exclude unassigned. You can see that I have major subnet is 172, and let me check if F5 is open over there. Okay, so F5 unit is also working over there, and you can see that the F5 unit IP is also from this subnet 172.16.20.1. Okay, so all of the devices are running with the same major subnet, that is 172.16.20.0/24. Okay, so we have talked about our lab topology. Now let us quickly check some of the scripts. Maybe first of all, we will check the first script, that is how to telnet a device using Python 3. So Python has 3 versions so far. Python version 1, which is obsolete, Python version 2, which is about to obsolete, okay, and the Python 3. We will work on Python 3 only, not on the rest of the options, okay. So we will work on Python 3 end to end. So what we can do, we can open the telnet script from the internet. The link I have already provided you, and again I will tell you that you need not to copy, or you need not to do some kind of stuff, because I will give you this PPT. But how you can go, maybe you can just write down Python 3 script, or maybe telnet script we can write down, telnet script. So very first link, if you click over here, you can see, just go beneath over there, okay, into the last of the page. You can see that this whole script is mentioned over there, okay. But I am just modified that script because it still need to have some kind of modification as per our lab environment and as per the Cisco device environment, you can say, okay. So I have already modified that. I will show you also, I will little bit explain you also about this script, and going forth we will check about the F5 script also, and one of maybe more script also we will show you, and then I will unmute you. If you have some kind of open questions, you can ask me that, okay. Just allow me some time, let me go through this PPT first, then I will surely unmute you all and give my introduction also, and will take your introduction also, but obvious, okay. So this is the Python 3 script for the telnet program. Using that we can access the device using telnet, okay. The same thing I have mentioned over here, and if you check, the telnet library is the open library, okay. Someone else has created it for us. We will make use of this telnet library for our purpose, and we will access the devices using the library which is open which is created by someone else, okay. But there is a limitation with this telnet library, that it will not accept the strings. There is some more concept named as byte string. Someone from YouTube was watching my video, and he pinged me over my WhatsApp that my script is not working. So the issue that person was doing is, he was using the simple string. Howsoever, telnet script was telnet script is created so that it will use only byte string. So what is the difference between them two, I will surely explain in our classes, okay. So what should be the prerequisites? Prerequisites, your device should be reachable where the Python is installed, first of all, okay. Second, your device should be open for the telnet, okay. Then your device or script should have the same credentials, whatever credentials your device has. So if you check over here, this is my telnet script. Let me double click over here, and might be from my main of the PPT. Okay, I am double clicking over here, and you can see there is some kind of script which I can see over here. Okay, I am just copying it and closing this file and going to maybe my Sublime this time and just pasting it over here. So this code is of the 17 line of the code is there in front of us. Okay, this 17 line code will do what? This maybe I will quickly go through the code and then we will proceed for our PPT. Here I am providing the IP address, here I am providing the username, here I am providing the password, then I am using my telnet library, and using my telnet library I am parsing the device username and password so that my device should be able to telnet so that my script should be able to telnet my device. After that, if you are from the Cisco background, I hope you will be able to understand it quickly. If you are not, it's not an issue. I will just explain you that I am running some kind of for loop, that is the Python concept. Okay, and using this for loop, what I am creating, I am just creating a VLAN. Okay, so one VLAN will be get created because the range is having from 2 to 3. It means only two second VLAN will be get created. Okay, and it will get exit out of the program, and it will just print out the input, all of the input for me. So let me quickly work over this. Okay, but before that, let me log in over my device so that I can check that the telnet is working over my device or no. Okay, so just allow me a minute. There is some issue. Let me run again 2.2.2.2 and telnet. It is cannot assign. Okay, maybe some issue. Let me check with 1.1.1 this time. 1.1.1.1. Okay, just allow me a minute. Let me check my devices. Either my devices are working fine or no. Okay, it is working fine. Let me check from the command prompt quickly if I am able to telnet 2.2.2. Okay, I am able to telnet. Okay, so username is Cisco, password is Cisco, and yuppie, I am into my device. So let me check exclude unassigned. Okay, so here you can see that my major subnet is 172.16.20.2, and somehow I am making routing from my desktop to access this device using 2.2.2.2. That is the public IP again, but there should not be any question about that. Reason behind, I am doing some kind of manual root addition. Okay, so that my laptop or my computer, my machine can go to the device automatically. So I am getting exiting out of this device, and let me run my script then. I hope my connectivity is okay. Okay, so let me run this script, and before running that script, maybe let me telnet it again so that we can check either currently it is having that kind of configuration or no. If I check the show VLAN, so there is no VLAN 2. Okay, and let me bring like that. Okay, let me maximize it, and let me just press Control B to run this script. Someone has some question or something? Your voice is echoing, not able to hear. So is it echoing for you all, or for only for Selva Kumar? Is my voice correct? You are able to hear it? Nilesh, I hope he is saying it is clear. No echo. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So maybe if someone has any issue, please reconnect once. Okay, so that you can have the issue corrected. Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. So let me press Control B over here so that I can show you how my device can be accessed. But before that, we need to check if there is some kind of issues into my script or no. So here we can see that there is some issue into the line number 17, and it is showing me something like invalid character. Okay, you can see that it is showing me syntax error, and syntax error has the invalid character in the identifier. So I can check that here created some script where I used or, that is not a correct function. I have commented it out. So in Python, if you wanted to comment something, you just write down hash. Okay, hash means it will be get commented out automatically. So I was talking about the byte string. So here, if you can see the B into the whole program, that means that B is the byte string. Okay, now let me save it again and let me press Ctrl plus B again, and this time I can see my device has created something that is VLAN2. Let me open my command prompt and let me show over here, show VLAN again. Okay, and you can see Yahoo, we have the VLAN2 automatically. Now if I wanted to change into this script, maybe this time I don't wanted to create only VLAN 2, I wanted to create more than VLAN, maybe, yes, I am recording this video, don't worry. Yeah? I will give this video to all of you. Okay, so if this time maybe if I am using from 2 to maybe 21, so it will create till 20, because 1 less than 21. Okay, how this is how the range command will work. I am saving it again, I am pressing Ctrl B, and you can see that it is going into my device, and there is some maybe syntax issue or something like that, so that it is not working. Let me check over that. Okay, so it was under the const T, and after that it is pressing end. So where is the end? Here is the end. So end should not be here, and should be maybe like that. I am saving it again. So this is how indentation is so much important. If your device has the wrong indentation, then it will misbehave or it will work very differently, in a very different manner. Okay, so I am just pressing Ctrl B again, and let me check this time. Okay, this time you can see that the 20 of the VLAN has been created in 1.2 second. I am showing you over only single device, but it can be n number of devices, n number of configuration. It is not like that you will be created only VLAN. I am just showing you how our device can, how our script can access the device. It can be n number of the devices, n number of the configuration. My script can pick the configuration. My script can pick the username and the password. My script can pick the IP address also from the external files. So Python is so much advanced, it can do like that. So let me run show VLAN over here, and let me check either my VLAN 20 has been created or no, and you can see that my device has already got configured with all the VLANs till so far whatever I have given. So I change only one number, I just change from here 3 to 21, and 21 VLANs are there. If I will change it from like that 501, the 500 VLANs will be created over the device. So this is the power, like within some few line of commands you can do a multiple and multiple of the stuff. Okay, I hope you guys are understanding what I wanted to tell you. Okay, thank you. So let me go to my PPT again. So this is how I was talking you about the telnet script, like how the telnet script can work over our device. But yes, telnet is no more used in the corporate section. Okay, corporate sectors. So what we will use a couple of other libraries. Okay, like we can take use of netmiko. Okay, and we can use the paramiko, or maybe we can someone was asking for pypi. So if I will show you like these two functions, you can use for pypi also. And if someone was talking about the nornir, so nornir is like little bit different, but you will be able to manage the nornir also. So all of these libraries are the open libraries which you can use for SSHing into the device instead of telnetting. So telnetting I have already shown you. Likewise, we can create all of our script using the SSH as well. Okay. Now we will quickly check how to create something, maybe the pool creation or like that. Okay, or our device. Okay, using the Python script. Now to access our device, using the if we wanted to access our FI device using Python, we should be aware about the API. What API means? So API means application programming interface. So instead of login through CLI or through GUI, now my program will automatically, or my script will automatically use my or access my device. That is known as that my application is accessing that. Okay, so my this time my application is accessing the the FI device. So how it will be used? It will use some kind of operations name as CRUD. CRUD has the create, read, update, and delete options. Okay, and it will again use netconf, restconf, these two APIs. Okay, designed for that. So REST API is an architecture. It is not a protocol which is providing the guidelines like how to use our API. So we are further converting the script into the executable script, as I told you. Okay, so by that mean I will be able to convert, or I will be able to access my device automatically. So let me open it with the command prompt instead of going exit. Here I can write down the dir, and I can see that there are a couple of the files already creating over there. Maybe let me execute this script. Okay, one of the script to check how our Python can configure our F5. So to check, to do that, I need to write down Python and followed by the script name. If I will write down over here, it will get executed my Python script. Okay, and this Python script will be used my device. I am into the device this time, so let me log in into the device also meanwhile to show you net minion. Okay, and let me check how many pools we have, because this script is only created for the pools. So we will check about the pools. So we have only one pool, that is with the description that it is created manually. Okay, let me show you what this script is doing. This script, as I shown you my earlier lab, okay, the lab topology. So this is my PC, and my PC through the switch or something like that, it is accessing my FI device. So this is my FI device. For F5 device, we can do multiple and multiple of the things. Even we can upgrade the F5 box also. Okay, we can go into so much of the depth, but what we will use, we will just creating the pools for now. Okay, and here I am showing you how to create the pools using the Python script. So this script is welcoming the user first of all. So it is saying, or it is greeting, and here you can update or you can customize as per your project or as per company. Okay, your company, you can do like that. And it is asking for the choice from the user, and this script is telling either you can create, delete, update, view, or quit. These some operations you can do using the Python script. Okay, I am using, maybe I am using this time, I wanted to view, I am pressing 4, and when I am pressing 4, it is telling me that here is the pool details. So there is only single pool, as we checked over the device, that the name was the pool name, pool 1. Let me create one more pool this time. Okay, and let me check again. So if I am checking pool 2, and again I am, maybe I am giving some kind of, okay, something, some different description. So this time I have two pools. Let me check my script, either it is fetching in the real view or no. So I am checking view, or either you can write down for, or maybe you can write down view. Whatever you will write down, it should work. So you are writing down the view. Here you can see that in view it is showing now the two pools, pool 1 and pool 2, because I have created two pools now. Okay, what if I wanted to delete the pool? Maybe the pool number 2 I wanted to delete. I will use my second option, that I want to delete it. It is asking what is the pool name. So I need to give the pool name. So maybe this is my pool name, and I'm pressing enter, and script is doing something by its own, and it is showing that okay, requested pool is now deleted. Okay, you can verify the configuration using view button. So let me press 4 and let me check again. It is showing me that only pool 1 is existing over there. But what about my device? Let me refresh the device again. So I am clicking over the pool list again, and you can see that yes, my script has made the changes over the device. Okay, let me get leverage of this script, and this time maybe I wanted to do some more stuff. Maybe I wanted to create something. So I am just writing down the create. It is asking from me like what is the pool name. So I am giving python demo. This is the pool name, and it is asking for the description. Maybe I can say 3rd May. Okay, it is saying that yuppie pool is created. Okay, whatever message you wanted to show, you can show that obviously, but here I am just for the fun, I am using this method, and this is created now. Let me press 4 again over here and let me check. I can see that there are now two pools, pool 1 and pool demo, which I just created before some time. But what about my device? Is it created into my device also? I will just refresh the pool list again, and you can see yes, my pool list is also getting updated. So this is again small demo how my Python script can log in into the main device. Either it is the Cisco device, either it is the FI device, whatever device it is. Okay, someone is telling anything. Okay, good, thank you. So it is something we are telling that yes, using Python we can do multiple and multiple of the stuff. Okay, now let us proceed for our PPT quickly. I will not take much time of yours, and we can just go one by one in very quick manner. So Python 3 script, I have already told you like how to use FI device. Similarly, we can build up the network diagrams. Okay, we can create such kind of app. If you wanted to check that, you just go to my YouTube channel. Again, YouTube channel link is also provided into the PPT, and this PPT will be not into the PPT format, but into some format it will be come to you in the PDF format, and you can check okay over there. So how to make the device auditing, like if I have 100 of the or the 1000 of the devices which has been taken care which has been taken from some another project maybe. Okay, so this time you are provisioning something, and you need to remove their SNMP configuration, you need to remove their username and password, you need to remove their access list, and you need to put in your access list, your username and password, your maybe SNMP, NTP or such kind of stuff. So you can just pick that script from the napalm, and it will audit into the thousand of the devices where where the configuration is not there. It will implement, and if it is there, then it will like it will automatically say you that the device configuration is not required. So someone is asking, could you show? So I am sorry, Komin, I cannot show you that, because that script is for only for my students who will be enrolled for this kind of project. Okay, this class. So I'm sorry for that. Okay, I was talking about the napalm device auditing. Then we can have something like netmiko threading, because uh, your CPU is able to capable of handling multiple and multiple of the devices. If we need to configure maybe 10 devices or 25 devices or more than that devices, so we will not go sequentially. Okay, we will use we will use the threading concept. In that concept, the device, maybe the devices will be get blocked in get converted into some blocks. Maybe 10 devices at one time will be go or get like the script will get executed into them. Okay, CPU utilization graph you can find out. Again, you can go to my YouTube channel, you can see like how this kind of demo is working. You can create the network diagram on the behalf of CDP or something like that. Script can do, and a lot of more and more we can do over here. Okay, so now the time came, okay, to tell about us what is the net meaning solution and how we are using or how we are teaching you. So we are having the end goal to prepare you in n number of the courses, including Python. Okay, the networking courses also. It can be the advanced routing, switching, the wireless, Fi, and many more. So one thing more, like multiple of the people are used to ask, like, I am not from the coding background, am I able to learn or no? So this question is again coming from the persons who are having the 15 years of experience, who are having the 20 years of experience, and who are having the 2 years of experience, like the wide range. So it doesn't matter if you are from the coding background or no. Even me also not from the coding background. Okay, I am also a working professional with having the 15 years of experience Python. So it is easy language, don't worry. So this is our registration number, which is shown over the screen. If you wanted to check, you can just go and you can check. We are the ISO certified 9001 and 2015. So why us? Okay, so Python is a comprehensive like plan. We are saying if you wanted to learn Python by yourself, like people can learn, not an issue, but there would be a time concept will come in between. It may be maybe 6 months, 1 year, or whatever time it can be. So we are providing you a comprehensive plan with the complete guide. Okay, and you will be able to learn it very quickly manner. Again, the session will be very much interactive, so we are not here to teach you only. So to complete the course like that, we will educate you. We will be in very much interaction. We will check with the persons, either he or she is able to understand it or no, like that. Okay, and I am getting the feedback from multiple of my students that yes, no one can give like training, or like if you are teaching someone 100 hours maybe, okay, that will be of no use if the person who is like if the person is not able to understand that. Okay, so it will be a full on fun into the class using the interactive pattern, you can say. Experienced faculty, I would be your faculty end to end for this course. Okay, and I will teach you 100% support, yes, but obvious during the course also, and after the course also, we will be in touch. And if you have any issue in your automation, then we are here to support you. Okay, and the training material, what will you get? You will get the theory, you will get the lab guides. Okay, you will get every material. Okay, and yes, first of all, every session will be the recorded session, and you will get these videos for the lifetime. There is no foundation that you will get videos only for the particular, maybe for 1 month or for 2 months, like that. No, there is no streaming videos. These videos you can offline like save in your hard disk also, only with one limitation: do not distribute this stuff. That's it, nothing else. You can just check it and just go with these videos, and number of times you need not to go again and again, like you need not to join the course again and again. So we are offering 4 modules. The module 1 is for the Python building block, where we will make your foundation strongs for like what are the data types, like strings, byte strings, integers, list, tuples, dictionaries, for loop, int loop, while loop, multiple modules. Okay, what are the user defined function, like that. So there are multiple of things which you will be get learn about that, and within no much time. It will take hardly maybe 1 or 2, or maybe hardly 3 classes. Okay, so do not worry about that. After that, there would be the module 2, which would be more focusing towards the network work loving people. Okay, so these are for like how to configure ASA, how to configure NXOS, iOS XR. Okay, maybe Arista, Juniper, something like that. Okay, you can just configure those things. Then for module 3 is for big IP lovers. I have already shown you one script how to configure big IP, okay, using Python. Then module 4, we will build some of the apps together, and again it will be a online interaction session. It is not like that I will give you the app and you are creating, you are just copying it out. No, I will create the app with you guys. You guys will give me the feedback, and we will create the app in a combined way. So you will surely love over here. not an issue. So this is our Python batch schedule already for this year. 3 batches are already completed. Only a few of the batches are left, and one of our batch is starting from 9th of May, from next week. Okay, already enrollment has been done. So regarding the modules, I have already complete like what is the module and what are the things, and here we are telling like including GST, these are the rates. Then I also wanted to show you one thing. If you wanted to check about more about the modules, okay, the module structure, and you can go to our website directly, Python for Networking. Over here you can check everything in written. Okay, you can just get to know what we are telling, okay, what we are teaching into our class. So it is not the verbal kind of stuff. You can just go over there, you can understand what are the all modules consist of. Here the demos are also there. You can see that n number of demos are over there. You can just go over there, okay, just click over the YouTube channel. You will go to our YouTube channel also, and from here you can just check. So you can just check, there are multiple and multiple of the scripts already there. Okay, so this is all about the fee structure and about the modules. Currently we are not selling module 1 for some reason. It is starting from module 2, and one module is consisting of its predecessor. So if you are buying module number 3, so module number 1 plus module number 2 plus module number 3, it consists of all. So if you are buying module 4, it is consisting of module number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you can catch us over the YouTube, over the Instagram, Facebook, maybe at Twitter or Telegram with the name of the NetMinion Solutions, and there are some our numbers also, and our website and our email IDs also presented over there. Okay, so thank you for attending this. Now it is the question time. One by one we can ask question. Okay, I am allowing you all to speak. Okay, and maybe we can talk now. So just give me a minute. Let me unmute you all. Okay, so that you can ask questions. So just allow me a minute, please. Talk one by one.